Back live, Two Hot Heads, where activism happens.
Here we are in studio.
Yeah, we're in studio. We got someone on the phone, and Frank, I think you were directing a Monsanto march towards the, what are we calling that now? The TD Bank North where the Bruins are playing?
Yeah, so
is that what you're doing
anybody listening out there in Radio Land on your smartphone to onregularradio.com, lead that Monsanto march right down to the Bruins game and start educating folks what GMOs are, because they don't know. But back to the matter at hand. We got a man on the phone.
You know his name?
Good day.
His name is Steve Milla.
On a writer on the Panic Hour. With N.A. Poe, who just got released from jail, right? Is that the story that we're hearing?
That's correct. And you have to sustain that scream for 60 minutes in order for it to be a complete Panic Hour.
Fair enough. Next week's show we'll do that.
We were just talking about you because we saw your the Mike Salvi livecast.
Mike Salvi's World.
Yeah, wherever you call those things, the live broadcast.
Ustream. Mike Salvi's Ustream.
Yeah, from when N.A. Poe was being released from prison, and you were the guy that took off his shirt. Is that correct?
That's correct. So I don't know if you've watched these live streams before, but they're generally pretty boring. So I thought, let's make this one interactive. I just did yoga that day. And by the way, since you're in New England, Philip Urso, Live, Love, Teach, mad love to you over in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, sorry. But thank you for the six-pack that you saw on the live stream. So I said, all right, it's a canvas. What do you want to write on there? And it wound up in a situation where I had the words "Stop the Illuminati" written on my midsection, and today I got to explain to a Chinese international student why they were written across there after I sodomized him profusely.
I thought it was going to be like free Adam, free NA, and you went somewhere else with it.
Well, saying "Stop the Illuminati" is basically saying free Adam and free NA Poe, because, they were jailed by, the Illum, the feds, the people in power that make all the decisions. They're the ones who decided that it was going to be illegal that day to have a microphone right in front of a First Amendment tombstone.
Yeah, selective enforcement. I like that you said that, too, because I think a lot of people get caught up in all this Illuminati crap, this conspiracy theory, and it's like the real conspiracy theory is right in front of you. The feds are doing it right now. It's not FEMA camps. Mm-hmm. It's federal prison. What's going on? Because this has been like a real kind of developing story since Saturday, Thursday, Friday. What is the current status with N.A. Poe and Adam Kokesh? What's going on?
Thursday, they finally did the bail hearing, and Adam said nothing. And they fought about it for a while, and it turned out they had the witness who had filed the report on behalf of the Park Police at, the trial, and he testified, and his lawyer kind of ripped him to shreds, and he looked like a lunatic, insane false teacher. And hours later, Adam was released. Poe was released on his own recognizance on bail, but now it is looking more and more like his charges might be dropped as well, because guess what? They didn't do anything illegal, it turns out.
Yeah, they really didn't. Especially with the charges of assaulting a police officer. I was skeptical. I was wondering maybe, it's not out of the realm of possibility that someone had grabbed someone's arm to try to stop a marijuana arrest like it was alleged in the criminal complaint that I saw against Adam Kokesh. But I watched the videos, 8 different angles, all different directions. They didn't do a thing. The police just came over and attacked them and basically arrested them as soon as they could. There was no opportunity for Adam or NA to...
And one thing that was very interesting in the trial was that the Park Police's witness who had compiled the report, this guy named Douglas Reed, Kokesh's lawyer asked him, well, how did you know about Adam Kokesh? He's like, well, we had received memos that he'd be there. And he said, from which federal agencies? And he didn't recall. So clearly they had orders going in about who they were going to arrest, and then they went and did it, regardless of what actually happened. And then later that day, this is also worth noting, our intern, Kyle Prouty, was riding the subway going home from a protest outside the Federal Detention Center, and he was illegally detained by a transit cop here in Philadelphia. And while she was detaining him, she's like, oh, he's with the Panic Hour. They think they can say whatever they want to SEPTA cops.
So this dude that testified, was he was he a actual park ranger?
Yeah, he was an actual. He was the head of security or something for the
So,
park.
like, they had a witness that was a park ranger testify to say that, like, they saw another park ranger get assaulted by Kokesh and Poe.
Right, except he didn't see it. He only heard about it in reports.
And that's what he said, like, when they cross-examined him?
Oh, man. I wonder if the judge didn't secretly go and check out those videos like I did, too. I mean, it's so obvious what happened if you watch the videos. Doesn't it kind of surprise you how much they really are watching you, or watching what you're doing when they know who you are?
It surprises you how much they're watching you, and this should be a huge wake-up call for anybody who thinks, well, I voted, so that's enough. Because guess what? This is the change you can believe in right here. So they come and they target activists whenever they don't agree with them. And if that's what Obama came to bring around, well, it's here. You got it.
And that's no different than what George Bush was doing, I mean, these whole fusion center things, which, like, this week in a weekly paper up here, we got this story about the Brick Fusion Center in Massachusetts, which is one of two, and they've spent...
Oh, you guys are moving to that fusion center? This phone call is probably being listened to in Horsham, PA, so we want to give a big shout-out to the Horsham Fusion Center.
That's right.
Hello.
What up?
Yeah, you got multiple fusion centers listening in today. The feds, the Joint Terrorism Task Force.
I thought we were the Joint Task Force.
Yeah. What was... I'm
Sorry, man. What was that?
No, that's it. Multiple fusion centers. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. The crosstalk is confusing them today.
Yes, it's a tactic. No, but I mean, so we.
And also, it doesn't. I'm from Cleveland originally, so everything you say, I have to translate from Bostonian into my Midwestern gutter faggot English that I speak. And
we're creating jobs.
That's inclusive
you're
language
about
right
park
there.
ranger, and I'm like, huh? A park ranger. Yes.
No, not a park ranger. Not someone looking for someone with the plague, but actual someone who works in a
You were
park.
talking about the Bruins earlier, right?
Yeah.
Oh, a park. Yes, of course.
Well, they're park rangers. Surely they're playing the New York Rangers tonight.
Hey, we're creating jobs for translators at the Fusion Center.
That's right. People in different dialectical. That's such the disgusting thing about society, or our reality in what's supposed to be a free country at this point, though, is that there's literally people that have to go to work every day and listen to what we're doing, as if it's the biggest deal
I can't
on the
think of
face.
any worse punishment.
Right?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Seriously.
Listening to me order Chinese
some
food.
Government employee has to sit there and listen to the panic hour. God.
Hey, if it bumps up our numbers, you know what I mean?
They just keep writing reports.
Yeah.
They're like, do I really have to keep doing this? This is stupid. And they waste all that money.
Our last episode got 11,000 listeners, but 2,000 of them were in different fusion centers and whatnot. So,
it's like High Times. High Times, half the subscription base was the police organizations. They were because most stoners won't subscribe and get it mailed to their house. They would go buy it at the store. They didn't want to be on the list. So when you actually went through the people who subscribed to High Times, it was mostly cops.
well, that's what's interesting is that's changing, and that was the whole thing about Smoke Down Prohibition is that these were hundreds upon hundreds of people that just went out and smoked weed in public. Risks be damned. That was kind of inspiring every time we did it, and even this time it was kind of inspiring because the cops are hauling away Adam Kokesh and Eddie Poe, and people are still blazing up like nothing's wrong.
Well, that was the cool thing is you can see from the videos that these dudes they walked the ranges, walked past people smoking weed and went right to Adam and went right to the dude Danny Poe dude. The both of them they weren't even smoking, right? Was Poe smoking?
Yeah, totally. I mean, either way.
Yeah, he was smoking as they took him face down into the ground. I was wondering if he burned his face.
But he was never charged with any marijuana.
I know.
It was only, that he assaulted an officer or what have you.
Which never happened.
No, that never happened. And this is what they do. They'll go and they'll try to throw, the most ridiculous charges they can to try to discourage anybody from taking any stance that disagrees with the official party line. And it was very funny. We, on Thursday morning, we did a rally before in support of Kokesh and Poe at the place where the arrest happened. And as we're talking, this huge busload of Chinese tourists rolls up. And, like, one, that made my crotch extremely happy. And two, what a great talking point. Like, you traveled all this way to see something you could see at home, which is someone getting locked up. Oppression. Opposed to the government.
Yeah, really. They're like, oh, we feel like we're at home.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Going out of our way to make the new landlord feel welcome.
So what did the Chinese people say about it? I mean, did they say anything about it, or like did you actually physically speak to them? No, not really.
No, we didn't. We did a whole lot of shouting and not too much engaging at that particular part.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so what's next, man? You guys raising money? You got a website? What can we check out?
We do. It looks like NAPO. Kokesh's charges have been reduced to citations, and he's not signing the citations, so his case is basically out. But NAPO still faces a trial over all this, and we have a fundraising site. It's on Fundly. It's the NAPO Defense Fund. People have been great so far. People from all over, stoners from everywhere. A lot of like Liberty people with like a crazy twitch in their eye and like a gun on either hip have been giving us money, which is fine.
We know a lot of those people. We know
probably the best thing those people could be doing.
Yeah, really. Let me ask you a question related to that. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about this whole Adam Kokesh, just in general, who he is? Because I really don't know him. I haven't been in his presence. And, I'm just watching from afar. Everyone seems to have an opinion on all sides, whether a lot of people love him, a lot of people say they think he's an agent, he's part of the Illuminati, he could be this or that. I mean, I think him getting a federal felony charge, even though it's been dismissed, I think that kind of rules that out, in my opinion. But I want to know what do you think about this?
I can definitely rule out that, yeah.
What do you think about the July 4th rally, specifically?
Well, see, all right. So both my parents went to Kent State and were at Kent State on May 4th, 1970, when people just got straight up shot by federal agents and nobody ever got brought to justice. And nobody ever went to a protest again. And I also know the history of protests in this country and what happens at them. And really, all it would take, if you had all those people, all with guns locked and loaded, all with that crazy angry glint in their eye, to make absolute chaos happen would be somebody with like a string of firecrackers, for example.
Yeah.
And the thing about smoked out prohibition is if everybody gets together and everybody smokes weed, what's going to happen? Well, everybody will be high, and that's pretty much that. When everybody's got a loaded weapon, like, strapped to them, that's
whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to people open carrying. I have a bunch of friends that open carry all the time. But in a situation like that, I'm not so sure.
So they have to cross a bridge, though. Like, if it does end up going down, like in Oath Keepers, like, I don't know if you saw that. What do you think of Stuart Rhodes coming out? Did you see that about Stuart Rhodes saying that Adam was an anarchist and, like, that the Oath Keepers didn't support? Well, no, it was he had said to the effect that he was an anarchist and he was plotting the overthrow of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Is what he had said that his intention for doing it was.
And I mean, I think Stuart Rhodes has kind of a point in some of the language Adam's used in this. I don't think Adam intends it to actually be this, but the language that they're using to describe this event is very provocative.
The dude just did 6 days in federal prison. I'm sure after the end of that experience, it's going to be a little provocative too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Is like but back to like the whole like the march. Like they have to cross a bridge, right, in order to get into D.C. So don't you think, like, thinking of, like you said, how protests work in this country, don't you think that there would just be a line of federal agents being like, yeah, great rally on that side of the river, like, you're not coming in? Like, don't you think that would just be what's actually going to happen if it does happen? And that's,
who knows?
That's a violent situation in itself, right? Because now you have people who are armed on either side of one another, like standing off, being like, "Well, I'm an American, I can go down that street," and they're like, "Yeah, buddy, no, sorry."
What I also found kind of inspiring about both Kokesh and Poe is that they both got out of jail and immediately went back to what they were doing before, just like activists do. Like Kokesh went right back to planning the What Could Go Wrong March. And Paul and I are hard at work at Federal Detention, the musical, which is about this entire saga. Nice. I wrote about half of it today.
That's awesome.
That will premiere at the Philly Live Arts Fringe Festival.
So that's what you guys are doing next?
Yeah, we're writing a musical, Federal Detention, the musical.
Awesome.
We found this comedian in Philadelphia who looks dead on exactly like Adam Kokesh.
Oh, wow. So tell us about the Panic Hour, because, I mean, I've come across you guys recently running these smokeouts, and it seemed like your show came out of nowhere. Like, what is it? Where can people listen to it? Tell us about it.
We're comedians that have a podcast that focuses on conspiracies and the government and what have you. And we do madcap public events, such as Smoke Down Prohibition, where everybody shows up and publicly smokes weed. We started doing it at Occupy Philadelphia. I stopped doing hygiene at Occupy Philadelphia as well. And we've been going ever since. And we did 4 successful smoke downs. I would say the 5th one was kind of successful, depending on how posed charges turn out entirely. But when that gets kicked, and when it turns out, and when everybody knows, like, that the government, what dirty things they were up to, then that'll be a success too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that I can't wait to see the next one. Are there any plans to do it again at the same location?
Oh yeah, it's already planned, and there's plans in other cities. We got an email from Wellington, New Zealand today. They're doing Smoke Down Wellington.
Nice.
The capital city of New Zealand. There have been 2 Smoke Down Pittsburghs already. And smaller towns as well. But
awesome.
The idea is spreading.
Oh yeah.
Get a whole bunch. Get too many people for them to handle. Get them all in one place. Give a bunch of speeches. Tell everybody else how they can help out, and then go blaze and there's 500 of you and 5 of them.
Exactly.
Know your rights. Get there.
And that's exactly how it works. I mean, we started that 20 plus years ago in Massachusetts, and now we don't get arrested.
Now we're having 2 days.
Yeah, now we're having 2 days of it, and we want you all to come up. Like, I'm campaigning. I used to book a lot of the big Boston Freedom Rally, and I'm not officially part of it anymore, but I support their organization and the event and all that. And I've already reached out to the organizers and said, we need to have the Smoke Up Prohibition, Philly folks up on stage. I want to see Diane, yourself, Adam Kokesh, all the people that were there up on stage smoking up and not getting arrested in Boston for it.
Yeah, that'd be great.